What's going on, guys? Gingerbreadman77 coming at you 4K through the power of the Xbox One X. And it's been a long time since I've done my original intro, but today I'm going to bring you guys my Battle Mage build. With this Sorcerer build, it's going to be up in your enemy's face, letting them know what you are, letting them know that Streak is now unblockable. I know I'm a little late to the party as far as a build video goes, but going from a pet Sorc to a non-pet Sorc, I have kind of went back to old school, bringing some penetration to the party. So I decided to just put together what I knew in the past and see if it worked, and it works out great, especially with Streak. So let's jump right into it. Some of you guys have already guessing on YouTube what some of the builds are, but I am happy to say that we are using spinners. I brought spinners back into the build only because the Sorcerer is set up strictly for burst. And the way that burst works is the more penetration and spell damage you have, the more burst you're going to have against your enemy up front, especially with the Sorcerer's passive. What is it? Amplitude. Increases your damage done against the enemies 1% for every 10% current health they have. So if they're at max health, your burst is going to hit them harder than if they were at lower health. But of course, if they're under 25%, your execute's going to do more damage as well with Endless Fury. But with this passive alone, you want to hit them up front as hard as you fucking can, and then burst them down as you go. So, back into the gear. We are still running Bright Throat. Bright Throat's going to give you your sustain and a little bit of damage overall. Max Magicka recovery, and then the 5-piece bonus when you have a drink buff active is 2000 max magic and about 150 mag recovery. If mine was golded out, that's what these numbers would be, but that's what they are when they're purple. On the back bar, we're running Bright Throat Sword and Board, defending sword and an infused health enchant for a shield. This is going to make us a little bit tankier overall. And you can also run Resto Staff. With the Resto Staff, with the in my previous video, you saw it was about 4k spell damage. If you run a Resto Staff with the infused weapon and spell damage enchant, and then hit him with entropy as well, you will hit that 39.99 spell damage mark. But I decided to put on Sword and Board just to be a little extra tanky and survivable, more survivable in Battlegrounds. And then our monster set is Engine Guardian. Engine Guardian is going to be a great sustain set because I think our recovery is only sitting at 1659. So in Battlegrounds, this will go down to about 1400, and that Engine Guardian Magicka proc is just, it helps out overall. You sustain really great. Max stamina is great. Max health's okay. Max Magicka is basically what we're mainly focusing here because we're focusing on burst. And then our gear is all impenetrable. I highly just suggest making impenetrable unless you feel comfortable running infused on the big pieces to get a little bit more extra stats. And then the jewelry is Bright Throat as well. We have an infused spell damage necklace and then 2 arcane mag recovery rings. This is what I'm comfortable with. This is how I like to play. It puts our spell damage just at that 2300 mark, so when we're buffed up we're at about 2900, and then with continuous attack we're at about 3300 spell damage with 43,000 max magic, so we're hitting super fucking hard on top of our penetration. So going back to penetration, we have the 3410 from Spinners. We have our light armor passives, which gives us another 4884, and then our light attacks from our destruction staff ignores 10% of the enemy's resistances. We don't have any destruction staff abilities on our bar. However, if you did want to run crushing shock instead of entropy, then you're going to be losing a little bit of spell damage, but you have a decent spammable. We are still a high elf. Where is it? There it is. We're still a high elf. And we are using Spring-Loaded Infusion. For new players that don't know what that is, it is a tri-stat drink buff that will proc our 5-piece bonus on our Bright Throat. So when this is up, we have max health, max stam, max magic increased. And then since it is a drink, it procs that 5-piece bonus down there. When you have a drink buff active, your max magic is increased by 2,000 and your mag recovery by 150. So fully buffed up. Let's take a look here. We are at just under 2,800 spell damage, 1,659 mag recovery. Oh, hold on. I guess we should increase our spell crit. 1,800 mag recovery. Those are all of our recoveries buffed with a drink buff. And then on the back bar, this is what our resistances look like. So 21 spell resistance and 19k physical resistance. Crit resistance is at 2,800. This could be buffed a little bit more with CP passives, but I'm comfortable with how this is currently. And then, of course, with all of our recovery, we have 1845 mag recovery, 626 health recovery, and 796 stam recovery. Engine Guardian goes along with all of these great. I have no problem sustaining. And then, I mean, you obviously have a little bit more issues sustaining in no CP than you do in CP, but no, a CP campaign, my sustain is great. So let's jump into the abilities here. Our front bar, Crystal Frags, Endless Fury, Structured Entropy, Haunting Curse, Streak, and then Ice Comet. Now, some of you may be wondering, well, where's your spammable? Our spammable is actually Endless Fury. Endless Fury does tremendous damage. Sorry, with the way this headset's set up, I have an echo in my head, so when my voice goes into the computer, I can then hear it back into my head, so there's like a half-second delay, and it messes with my speech a lot. So if I sound like I'm drunk sometimes, I promise you I'm not. Endless Fury is going to be our spammable. The way this spammable works is it's considered an execute, because when the enemy reaches below 20% health, you do 14k shock damage to them. But I use it pretty much every time I'm light attacking. So when I'm not using my burst, I'm spamming the execute. And the way that this is set up, some of you are wondering, well, how do you do damage if you don't have a spammable? Well, get set up here. What I do is I light attack, curse, light attack, entropy, light attack, frags, light attack, endless, and then obviously you streak at them to stun them before you hit them with a frag. Sometimes it's hard on console because the camera is not as quick as if it was on a PC. So when you're light attack, endless, light attack, curse, light attack, streak, and then hit him with that C-frag when you turn around, it can be a little difficult to pull off on a console because the camera is not that great. So let's see if I can do this without falling off. So light attack, curse, light attack, endless, light attack, endless, light attack, streak. Your streak is going to be your main CC here. It's probably one of the best CCs in the game if you can time it up right, because it's unblockable and undodgeable. So the way this is set up, you can hit anyone with your meteor combo, and it hits hard. So if you can burst them up with the curse, endless, meteor, streak, and then frag, I think I equated it out to about 100k tooltip damage. No, that sounds off. About 60k tooltip damage. Sorry, that was with Imperial Physique procs. So what you want to do is you light attack, entropy, light attack, endless, light attack, curse, meteor, streak, frag. Everything just went off at the same time right there. And then while you have that Haunting Curse proc still on, you can still just hit them with endless if they happen to be low health, and then boom! That's how you do it. Let's go to take a look at the back bar here. I'm sorry. Here we go. We have Dampen Magic, Hardened Ward. Look at these shields. They were at 14k with my previous build, but 11.9k for each damage shield is pretty bitchin' if you ask me. I think these go down to, this is like 8,000 in no CP, and this is 6,100, something like that. Crit Surge, this is kind of a flex spot. I like to put Crit Surge here, mostly because it synergizes well with Boundless Storm. But Crit Surge is going to be our main heal passive. passive heal while we have our shields up. And of course, when this changes to Major Sorcery next patch, I will be dropping Entropy, and I will be running Elemental Drain. And then that also means that we can free up our second set, which is currently Spinners, for something such as Crafty Alfiq. So we're just going to be having probably 50k plus max magic, and then your penetration will be coming straight from Elemental Drain. So Crit Surge is our main heal. Obviously this will go up when I have it max level. It's only at level 3 currently. Dark Conversion is going to be our main spammable heal along with some sustain. This is also going to, some people forget, when you pop Dark Conversion, you do not necessarily have to spam it. Sometimes it's good to pop it pre-fight, so that way when you're in the middle of combat, you activate that mag recovery that you get over 20 seconds. So 2400 over 20 seconds is, what, an extra 300 spell recovery? Did I do that math right in my head? Yeah. Yeah, it's just, well, it's like 210, I think. I'm sorry, it's like 5 in the morning here, so if my math is completely off, I'm just totally guessing. It's 200 something, I know that. Because 2,000 divided by 20 is 200. Or no. Hold on a second. I don't know. My phone's dead. Sweet build video, right? Gingerbread Man sucks at math. Anyways, this is going to be our main spammable heal, and it does cost stamina, but we also have a huge stamina pool here. So what are we at? 16.6k max stam. Perfect. We can spam this quite a bit, and we can also dodge roll a little bit as well with that kind of stam pool on a mag character. Boundless Storm. This is going to be maneuverability, and it's going to give us Major Expedition, and also going to be our armor buff. So with Boundless Storm, Sword and Board, and then having Temporal Guard for our 8% damage reduction, we're going to be pretty tanky with only 21k max, 21k spell resistance and 19.4k physical resistance. So I know it doesn't sound like that much on paper, but it's actually, it works out very well. And then if you have like an Engine Guardian proccing the health beam, you're gonna outlast a lot of damage. I promise you that. I do tend to play no CP, but if you wanted to bring this into CP, I have it set up for a CP campaign as well. 66 into Warlord, 1 into Siphoner to piss off Templars, 6 into Sprinter. This is just going to go with our Boundless Storm to reduce our cost a little bit more for sprinting. We have 14% mag recovery. At least make this 14%. If you want to go to 15, that's fine, but I always keep it at 14 no matter what. No, never lower. You want good stam recovery, 11% is good there. 72 into Tumbling, because you do have to dodge roll, and dodge roll is pretty costly sometimes, so I do suggest putting a lot in there, especially if you have to double dodge roll. And then nothing into Shadow Ward, because we were running Sword and Board. So having Sword and Board gives you automatic 36% reduced in block, so there's no need to put points in there. 43 into Blessed, that's going to increase our healing, especially passive healing. Crit damage is at 20%. You want 64 in LA Expert. I always never go below 13 in this as well, because this pretty much procs all of our abilities. I had an extra point, so I threw it into Spell Erosion. 25 into Staff Expert, 81 into Master of Arms. All of our abilities direct damage. Nothing into this tree. 73 into Ironclad, 40 into Resistant, 34 in a Thick Skin for the current dot meta, and then 43 in Elemental Defender and Hardy. 37 in a Bastion to give us a 15% increase in our damage shields. This works great in a no CP campaign, and like I said, I have a hard time not sustaining with the CP passives that we get. I do suggest having Unchained. When you break free, your next stamina ability used within 5 seconds is reduced by 80%. So when you break free, you can either pop a Dark Conversion, which is basically free at that point, and then if you also choose to, you could dodge roll instead of popping Dark Conversion. Yeah, that's it for the CP. Alright, what else are we missing here? Went over the gear, went over the skills. We are high elf. We are not a vampire, some people were wondering. And then our Mundus is the mage. So, with that being said, oh, look who it is. It's Fairy telling you. What you doing, buddy? I'm just enjoying your, you can move things now. Nice. Hey, Fairy, let me show the, combo to everyone. So when you're setting up this burst, so look at this guy. So entropy, frag, entropy, streak. That's how you do it. Entropy, frag. No, entropy, curse, endless, and then you streak with them if you have a C-frag proc, and then hit them with the C-frag when you turn around. If you can move the camera quick enough. But like I said, it is difficult. But once you get it down with a lot of practice, it's really not that bad. Oh, fuck. God damn you, Fairy, in your platformed house. Alright. Heavy armor mag sword here. Nice. Alright guys, that's my Battle Mage build. I appreciate you checking it out. I got a lot of positive feedback from some of the gameplay clips that I showed. Give this a try. Honestly, if you like Mag Sorc, I promise you this build, like if you played Mag Sorc and it's not fun to you anymore with the way the current meta is, give this build a try. It's honestly a lot of fun. You can still use great damage potential. You still have great damage potential. The burst is there, the healing is there, your speed is still there with streak. Everything that Sorcerer had back in the day is still here, and especially with the new changes to streak, it's a lot of fun to just be up in your enemy's face and still keep them at a ranged disadvantage, because you can hit them with all of your ranged abilities once you streak through them. And I just like using electricity. So anyways guys, I appreciate it. Check out the Battle Mage, and I will see you in the next one.